And then there was 100-pound potato. Just kidding.
We need to. No, this is good. This is good. Thank you. We need to continue our off-topic cold opens.
Something something potato?
There was a 100-pound potato.
It was a 100-pound potato. It was probably found in Ireland.
My friend just cooked a potato that looks like a giraffe. That's it. That's all. That's my contribution.
That's it. That's the open.
That's it. That's the cold open.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of The Mind and the Martyr, episode 100. We did it.
We made it.
Yay!
We made it. Through everything, we have made it. I'm super excited to jump into the session, so we're gonna go ahead and do that in just a moment. First and foremost, though, a few folks I need to mention that help keep us going here at Friends Who Roll Dice. We have our affiliates at Dice Envy, which you would have seen the sponsor for in the reel, just before. Links in the chat there. We have Grinding Coffee Co., which is a wonderful, wonderful coffee company that support a whole bunch of streamers in the space. We are lucky enough to have an affiliate link with them. Throw in FWRD for some cash off your order. You'll be supporting them and us. They are a fantastic Black LGBT plus owned coffee company, and they do a fantastic mixture of blends and flavors. So go ahead and check them out at Grinding Coffee Co. We are also a Roll20 ambassador stream. Roll20 is an online tool set that allows you to bring pen and paper RPGs online, whether that be through pre-set up packages that you can purchase off the marketplace and convert straight into Roll20 and to start playing straight away, or if you want to go ahead and flex your own skills, create your own thing, and use the tool set there to make your own campaign, either signing up for free or using a pro package that you can go ahead and purchase from the website. It's a fantastic tool set and allows games like this to exist, and many, many, many games that you've seen across the internet exist as well. So go ahead and check them out at roll20.net. This is how we roll. Speaking of rolling, why don't we go ahead and roll into the session here? Episode 100. Last time, our group of individuals, our party, the Hinge Blasters, as they are colloquially known, had traveled to the Demon's Tomb, this area relatively central in the map of Vega that has been magically dead for a very, very long time. No connections to any kind of outside source, no connections to the threads of magic. The entire place is abandoned. There is no life, no trees, no plants. But one of Aravathun's lieutenants, Vis, the twisted, draconic entity that had plagued and ravaged much of the planet beforehand, was sealed at this very spot. And so, getting a tip-off that perhaps this is where they were meant to go, the party did indeed head to the Demon's Tomb, where they met Ica, a individual who seemed to have been tending the sarcophagi of those who had sacrificed themselves to seal this away so long ago. After a bit of poking around and some emotional outbursts, well justified and well aimed indeed, Ica revealed themselves as Icolta, the vacant god of war, of death, of the hunt, of commerce, and a few other things. They had revealed that they had made a deal with some of the combatants on that battlefield to personally attend the seal keeping this banished from this plane. They had also revealed that they were aware of some of the goings on between Aravathun and a few of the other events that the party had spoken to Occulta about. Some information was exchanged, some harsher words than others in places before the situation was interrupted by a disturbance outside. Possibly believing it to be the monarch, this archfey-like entity that had teased itself to the group during their travels. The party were instead met by Aravathun himself, this strange creature that had been causing all of these event chains leading to, hopefully, his eventual conquering and draining of this plane. With combat very close to happening, some choice words from members of the party, some taunts, aiming at the ego of Aravathun, took root enough for him to pause his advance. They took a moment to think about the situation and agreed that fighting you and defeating you at your absolute strongest would be the perfect way to end this saga. And so they left. We pick up as the party reconvene and discuss, say goodbye to Occulta, and begin making their way back to the vessel in order to take on their next moves. And that's where we pick up from the session here, as the group were making their way back to the vessel. Goldie, looking at the rest of the group out from the boat itself, still getting ready for departure before seeing the confusion as you seem a bit less rushed than the individuals who had alerted her the first time. Pausing kind of halfway through rigging, just, are we, still in a rush? You seem a little, we're ready to go if everyone's good. Should I?
Uh, yes, we're still gonna get away from the island until magic is working, and then we're all gonna leave. You can either take the boat back to the port or do whatever, but we have to get home quickly.
Yeah, sure, okay. Cool. I'll just.
Do you want company on your boat?
I mean, I've traveled alone before. It's
Okay,
not gonna.
you just have been making us help, so I assumed you needed help get get back to.
It was just helping out with an easier ride. I can get back myself if need be. That's fine. It'll just be a bit slower. That's all. But if you have an emergency that you need to go ahead and take care of, like by all means.
Yeah, unfortunately, the boat won't teleport. I mean, will it? But it would go in our house, so that probably wouldn't be good.
Not really a skill I have, unfortunately.
Um,
As long as you
yeah,
will be okay.
as long as you're fine. And if you want to come back here and visit with Ika, I'm sure they'll tell you about. Was it her dad?
Hmm?
Was it her dad? Out of character. Was it her dad that I gave
I
a
think
message
like
about?
ancestor, like far, like
Right.
yeah.
If you want to talk to Ika about your ancestor, then I'm sure they'd like the company. Maybe, I don't know. They seem
Particularly like our company.
right.
On the island was a
Goldie,
god. I don't think we explained that to you. There is a god on the
Wait,
island.
let's back. Still
Do
generally
you-
wise to just steer clear of the island.
Wasn't that long. What? Do you need a drink? Some
No,
water?
there
Is
was a
that
god
the-
on the island. I don't know why that is hard to believe.
We met a we just met a god on the island.
Was that supposed to be a secret?
Not
Now he
always.
shrugs.
You know what? I need a drink.
Well, I mean, they told us to give her a message, so
Don't blame
Goldie.
yourself.
takes a few steps, walks over to one of the barrels that's kind of been set up over to the side, just with one hand leans it over, grabs a cup, and just starts pouring this very nice, fragranted, like pinkish wine comes out of the barrel, pours it into a very plain tankard by by comparison, and just questions for later. You said you were in a hurry. I'll we can catch up another time.
That's fair. Is everyone else okay?
I think I'm digesting what just happened, but physically I'm fine.
Oh, that's good.
I'm making plans. We need to fortify Stonehaven before we leave it again, since we just called out the big bad evil person.
I don't think they are going to attack Stonehaven. I think they made it very clear they're going to fight us.
But that's where we live.
But we're not.
I mean,
really
we're not
there.
always there, but
Rarely,
we are there
rarely.
sometimes. And
I-
besides, attacking those we care about is attacking us.
It could be. I guess. I don't know. I feel. This is going to sound very messed up, but I feel like I get where what the Aravathroon is coming from. I would not attack the people care about because they are not strong enough to be worth the fight. I would attack them. I don't need to do tricks. That's
Well, you
why-
also would probably not try to take over another dimension too, but yet a
No,
Rabathoon's
probably-
doing that.
probably
So
not.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying don't fortify Stonehaven. I'm saying I will not be worrying about the people I care about because I know I made the challenge and the Ravadoon accepted it. So I will hope that is enough.
So they're gonna attack us when we're stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we don't get stronger? Does that mean that that's our new strongest, and then they'll still attack us because we're not getting stronger, or is it like
That
a
could be a
delayed?
plan.
I like this plan. We don't prepare and therefore are preparing for the attack that will never come because we are not prepared.
Because we're not prepared for it.
Hey, joke's on you, Ray. We're now going to turn this into a farming simulator.
But
We're
we
never
just
going to-
did get stronger with these things we were given.
Now it goes
Oh,
in the
we
water.
kinda-
Like, hucks it back onto the
Yeah.
island.
Already bypassed that point?
Well,
And I would also, I do see your logic is sound, but I guess in internalizing that logic, we are smarter than what we were before we thought that. So,
I just say we hunt down some other gods and make them bless us as well.
have we just become god killers? Is that what we do now?
No, I didn't say we're killing them.
We're
Which
just
is
Robin
hunting.
kindness.
We're god bounty hunters.
Right.
Understood.
Wait. Are we getting paid for this?
Got these things.
But
Also,
that's
all of
from
this
the.
money, and I hold out
Yeah,
200 platinum.
But you don't get paid when there's a bounty. You don't get paid by the person that you find. You get
You
paid.
do if they don't want to get turned in.
So are you still a bounty hunter then, or are you something
Technically.
else?
Mm.
Okay. So Arawathun's still doing a bunch of other stuff too. I'm confused what we are supposed to do. Are they gonna kill us, but they're doing other things, and we're gonna stop those things from happening before we die?
Yes.
Well, I think first thing we should get back to the queen because I don't think anyone was aware that Ravathun was actually on this plane already. We still thought they were still trying to open a hole.
Oh, don't we have a stone we can tell the queen that, or did we already?
We already sent a sending that
Oh,
Ravathun is here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't replied.
Okay.
Does magic work yet?
A small discussion between you all, and yeah, with the boat currently in motion, you eventually do reach a point where you start feeling your abilities very, very swiftly return as you pass through that mist barrier again and find yourself back out on the open sea.
As the teleportation circle just turns on because Mara's already laid it out. Yep, it's working. Step through the portal.
It's like a ring doorbell, it just suddenly ding, switches on. Yes, are you using it immediately?
Were you just leaving
Yes.
Goldie? I mean, I'm sure she's fine.
We are giving
Alright.
her more money.
We
Wait.
did promise her more money, yes.
Okay, okay.
For wait,
We are
what is
giving
the
her a
reason?
big tip.
I give Goldie 1 platinum.
How much platinum did you find again?
200.
All right, I'm adding that to because I have
199.
I'm adding that to the party gold. We currently have 264 platinum.
Well, I gave Goldie 1.
Yeah,
Just
that's
takes the coin,
the
takes a look at
264.
it. Bites on it real quick to make sure it doesn't bend, and is like places it in her little satchel. All right. Well, this has been a brief experience, but good luck.
Thanks.
Safe
This
travels.
money looks different than the other gold. Is it why is it this color?
Who are you asking that to?
To
It's
the group.
platinum, not gold, and it's this color because that's how it comes out of the
Oh.
ground. But it's worth more than gold.
Oh.
It's worth significantly more than gold.
We look at that. That's all. Now he is excited to have money.
Bless her. All right.
Is Naui actually going to hold on to this money? Like, is she going to put it into her purse?
She puts it in her bag.
Okay. Look at you, Naui.
I've learned the value of $1. Now I'm not holding $1. I'm holding $100, but
Sure are.
Wonderful stuff. Cool. The circle is ready. You can go ahead and group up. Say your quick goodbyes. And the magic will activate. You are heading to Stonehaven's teleportation circle, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful.
I mean, we could head to our Indir, but I don't know. I would. So.
The magic pulses. You feel yourselves in a sudden shift of movement as you arrive in the teleportation circle that's tucked away. As you arrive in Stonehaven, a bitterness washes over you. You take a moment to look across the few walls that you can see.
Oh no.
These beautiful, intricate patterns of ice that have made their way across the sections of the wall themselves, looking out into the horizon around you. The forest, the trees have all succumbed to this ice, this cold. The snow completely layers across the ground. It feels like a cold winter's morning.
Isn't it like the middle of July?
In the middle of summer, yes.
Naui looks to the sky to start mapping out if we lost time, because she's used to that happening where she's like, oh, I thought it was a day, it's winter now. So she is like mapping out how high the sun is based on what time it is, if like we lost some kind of huge chunk of time on the island.
The suns themselves seem to be in the correct position for this kind of year. There's no strange dilation that you notice. It's definitely summer according to the sky.
Well, I have good and bad news. We didn't lose a bunch of time, so it's still summer.
Okay, that's good.
But, and I just gestured to the winter wonderland.
But we didn't lose a bunch of time, and this has happened. I think
Oh, it's gonna be
Mara
terrible
sends
for the
to
orchard.
Bo. Is everything okay?
It's fucking freezing. But other than that, yeah, we're shocked, but fine. One small question, and the psychic connection breaks as you hear a shout in the area of just what the hell is going on?
Mara takes off towards the yelling.
We forget to call home before arriving.
Technically, yes, I think.
I feel like even if we called home, they would not have anticipated this. And Dawan's gonna take after Mara at a leisurely stroll, because apparently I'm fast as fuck now.
If I had, I'd say the Jack and Hiroki because they're silly. If I had to guess, it's one of the birds that we left. Is probably bigger now.
Could ask the plants.
Maybe.
We'll just see what the shouting is about. Other
Yeah, we
people
should
have
probably
been
go
here
check
longer.
that out.
I'm gonna check out the like greenhouse area and try to make sure the plants aren't completely
That is
frozen
fair.
dead.
All right. As you all kind of exit from where this teleportation circle is, indeed, the entire area is caked in a thick layer of snow. There are small little trails that have been carved out from the guards, kind of like pushing snow aside, trying to make a little bit of space to move and to look around. Everyone is understandably very high alert, but you see everyone; they are accounted for. All of your staff, your friends, your guard are either mobilized or inside, kind of looking out the windows, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. The greenhouse, Jack, is seeing its first real stress test, so to speak, but it seems to have held up swimmingly. The greenhouse itself is a little cold on the inside, but nowhere near the level it is outside, and the plants that you have cultivated seem to be just as healthy as you left them.
Very good. Okay, babies, what happened? Asking all like the plants to give me a little rundown.
One of the flowers just pops up and just, it got cold.
Like recently? Was this a while ago? Like
Instantly, like half an hour ago, an hour maybe.
Just imagine
it-
this plant has a little swatch watch and tells us
yeah.
like 30 minutes ago.
It's a biological
Um,
clock, all right? It's a biological clock.
yeah, the plants will like follow the sun, so they're like, this is where the sun is. um, okay, and was it the flying things or something else? You don't know where it came from? It just got cold.
Was it the flying?
just
things?
just got cold.
Okay.
Very, very cold.
So here, let me tuck you in. So I roll out the little like blankets that you put over the plants when it gets frosty outside to trap in some of the heat. And I'll see you. Bye. And walk out.
You hear a collective as they kind of like plants are like snuggled up. Yes, the greenhouse is very much just fine, thankfully. Those of you heading towards the shouting, further towards the back, towards the keep itself, where the stairs rise up, the double doors are, standing just to the left in like 4 layers of clothing is Bo. And they are very visibly cold, shaking, looking at this whole situation kind of like unraveling, and looks towards the first person that turns the corner and just goes, "What?" Like arms outstretched up above.
I feel like first
Mara's
person
gonna
named Mara.
take that as
Yeah.
that he wants a hug. So she gives him a hug and be like, did the
You're
phoenixes
warm.
cause this?
Like wraps their arms around you, just, oh, you're warm. You're very warm. Okay.
Were we attacked? What's happening?
No, it just like a little bit ago, it just got very cold. And there was snow. And it didn't fall, it just appeared. And we kind of thought it was one of you playing tricks on us, and you seem just as confused as we are.
You thought we would cast a trick that would make it cold everywhere?
Could just be, I don't know. I'm not a magic-y person. Speak to the magic-y people. I'm not a magic-y person.
Dowie's heart skips a beat and she thinks, did the handler for the phoenixes get here?
Not yet. Don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Got a, oh, no, actually. Like, reaches into his coat pocket was like, they sent a letter via squirrel saying that they would be a little bit delayed because they had to pick up some supplies from somewhere.
That's fine. Think that's good. Never mind. My worries are all gone now.
Slowly folds the letter, tucks it away. Glad you're back and live at the very least. The lot of you seem to be pretty all right, and I see Jack's wandered off to the greenhouse to check on that. So it's good. It's good to see you all. Yeah. No, but really, what the fuck? What is?
Has something like this ever happened here before? Like on this plane? Is this normal? I don't know. I don't live here.
No.
This is very not normal.
Okay.
This is not how summer works.
Okay. That's good to know. Do I know of creatures that could do? Yeah, I guess, is it localized? I guess, do they know if it's happened anywhere else? Like, if we look, do we see like where it stops being snowy, like a mile away or something?
If you were to use this like slight height to look through the gaps of the wall and just like continue, everything that you can see at the moment is just covered in a layer of snow.
Okay.
And ice and frost. The sky above is clear. There's
Oh.
no clouds in the sky
Okay.
at all. Which is why you were able to spot the suns and track so easily.
Can I like think of something that could cause such a phenomenon? Because me, Austin has some ideas, but
Jack would be walking up to now and then would say, so if a Ravathun was there, do you think this is the monarch?
I was wondering, it could be a fey creature that controls seasons could do something like this.
And they sent us like the little icy stuff on the ship.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But what would they want with just ice?
To make people upset? A warning? I don't know. Where would they be? If they're not here, should we rush to the castle?
We definitely should see the range of do you know how far? Sorry, I was busy looking at my spells. This is Jesse speaking. Was it told what's the radius of the snow, the cold is?
It looks as far as we can see.
Okay, so
That's all.
Hello one gets a knock on the head.
I was gonna say we should probably message the queen and ask if the kingdom's been affected. Queendom's been affected.
Are you covered in snow over there as well?
Reaching out with your mind, you feel a sharp and immediate bump.
Oh.
There's almost an echo through your head for a moment as this sensation of brain freeze just kind of like rocks you for a moment before it fades and the connection cuts with it.
Okay, so I described that feeling. Yeah. Bo. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with the snow. I don't know, start fires. We gotta go. Don't let anyone strange in. Don't let anyone in.
Yeah, no, sure. We'll keep an eye on things and let you know if we discover anything.
I'm gonna go to the stable and ask, what do we call the cold phoenix?
I want to say snowy. I want to say we were not very.
I want to say it was like chill, but I can't
I want to say that
I didn't
we were.
realize we gave them names. We gave them names.
I don't
We
think
gave
we
them
really
names.
I think they
No, we
didn't.
asked them names. I don't
We
know.
asked,
Anyway,
but they didn't like it. They weren't interested. I don't think.
Would you like a
Okay.
name? No.
Yeah.
I know you're probably loving this cold, but humans could die. Can you try to help them? I don't know, maybe move the snow or something like that. I know you're a baby. I understand.
From where you've entered the menagerie, this whole like back room that they were incubating in has been like ripped out entirely, and the most makeshift of like bird cages, essentially. Just a big like room that's a bird cage has kind of been set up. Incredibly rudimentary, and these two creatures are curled up with each other in this little kind of like fluffy nest. And as you step in and say this, they both kind of perk up, look towards you, and there's this definite recognition before the Cryophoenix hops out. Very gently floats down to the entrance of this doorway, looks at the snow, and then just with one wing, just very slowly begins to like push a tiny little bird-sized
I can't believe
pathway
we told a
to the
child to go
side.
shovel the snow. Hey, I know you're two. Could you go shovel? Thanks.
She doesn't know what Phoenix powers are when they get them. Okay, stay safe. We'll be back soon. Ish, hopefully. And everyone's mounts, none of them are real. Oh, your orchid mantis probably should go into the greenhouse.
They are displeased, but they are fine. They are you
Okay.
have people on hand to look after them. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why these people are here.
Or
they are.
I guess you should actually get on your orchid mantis since we need to.
Oh,
to-
wait.
To clean.
And now he holds her spear out. Lupa! I left Lupa at the palace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you left her. Was it at the palace?
Yeah.
I told her to
Mhm.
go back to stay with the queen. So I call Lupa, and I assume she comes normally.
She appears back, and she is down on like two paws, tail up in the air, like ready to pounce, essentially, and growling as she appears before you, and taking a
Uh-oh.
moment to
She was
appear
protecting the queen and you stole her.
and looks to the sides, looks towards you.
What's going on?
She runs forward, slides underneath you so that you're mounted on top of her, and begins sprinting out the gates.
I
Yeah,
guess you'll tell me on the
Mark
way.
Hops on Shikari.
Yep, we're going.
Okay.
I gotta summon my bike.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Dawan and Jacaranda are just going to run to the stables and grab our mounts, seeing as we can't just summon them. Is there a point for me having a mount? I feel like at this point I could just run
Yeah,
faster.
you could just run.
You just race your mount.
That's a you choice if you decide you want
No.
to really show off.
Nobody needs to know how fast I am until they need to know how fast I am. Hopefully we get there in time.
I do definitely get the lowdown from Lupa on the way.
Instead of speaking to you directly, she kind of shows what she had experienced through her own vision. You see the initial kind of like wait for a while. Lupa kind of keeps an eye on individuals, keeps an eye on Queen Elowen specifically. And then there is a sharp and sudden change in the lighting as everything gets very bright outside of the windows. And the queen, some of the guards begin looking outside. It's very clearly the reflection of light across snow. And a little more than that, as you, through Lupa's eyes almost, take a look outside of the window, you can see outside of the walls of Scythia, encased in this huge section of ice, hollow in the center. The walls themselves are covered and encased and imprisoned in this almost a snow globe, just without the snow. People, understandably, begin to panic outside. You see shimmers in the snow that has appeared. Some of them footprints, some of them twisting vines and gnarled branches. You see these creatures begin to manifest. Some of them you would recognize. Very basic ice elementals, winter treants, winter dryads. Some stranger fey creatures, definitely fey, but ones you don't quite recognize, ones you haven't quite seen during your time in the Vale. They all begin to amass both in the city itself and towards the castle. It's about then you see people beginning to draw their weapons, to hear orders kind of crossing across various different people, and of course, the queen herself. Lupa kind of enters this defensive stance, and that's when she's pinged back to you.
So the castle is encased like in glass like a snow globe, you said? Or
The city.
The
is
whole
encased.
city.
The whole city.
okay. I would relay as I get stuff into the group chat.
Do we have explosives? That's the first thing Mara says, because she doesn't know how else to get through ice.
I can make things explode.
I can also make things explode.
Eldritch Blast Counts as an explosion.
You blew up that thing.
I might have a spell that could melt some ice.
Sounds like we can get through the ice.
Okay.
And if one spell doesn't work, I'm sure all of us trying is going to do something.
I mean, I have broken ice before. It's not that hard.
Was
I'm
it,
sure this is special ice, but I'm just saying.
Was it magical special ice that formed in a single 30 minutes?
I don't know how long the ice was there. It was there when I got there.
Maybe it's just really brand new and we can just punch it.
Not nearly thickness for ice skating. Just step on it.
Just punching magical ice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can get through the ice.
Most of us are magical beings, so our punches are automatically magical.
That's how it works.
Uh-huh. Okay.
How far
Yeah.
right is it to the capital again?
It's about an hour.
Woof.
At a dead sprint?
The travel is eye-opening, I guess, as the further you travel, the more you are just encountered with the same landscape through. And eventually, on the horizon, you do indeed see the capital of Scythia, now completely encased in ice. You still see small silhouettes inside of people moving around, of things moving, both in the castle itself and in what little of the city you can see from this viewpoint. The entire thing itself remains encased.
Okay. So Hiroki, your bike flies, correct?
Yeah.
I am going to cast fly on the rest of our mounts. And we're going towards the castle to make a hole.
That one's.
How-
Oh,
I was gonna ask, how close can we get if the whole city's encased? I guess maybe this is something else because I came in later. Is it like castle and then cities behind the castle, or is it like how big is the dome? You know, because in my head it's like over them and all the roads, but can we get?
So there's the bordered wall of the outside. The
Mhm.
city is the first thing that you step into. It itself is in the center and then kind of like continues around the side. The castle is further down that center and is raised up onto a hill and has its own set of walls fortifying it.
is it kind of like built
Um,
into the hill, or is there still surrounding city like behind it?
Would
it's on top and then behind it, if you were to go behind it past the fortifications, there's a lake.
Okay, okay, okay. So
and the
it's
ice dome
butted against something.
start? Do they have their own ice domes? Does the ice dome start just at the castle, or is it at the city wall?
The ice dome itself seems to almost follow the perimeter of the entire city. So it's kind
So
of
we're
like
trying to
around the
go.
border wall.
We're trying to go like up, like over the dome. You're saying then? Okay, and like
That's
go,
what
like,
my thought was.
yeah.
Like
No, I
we
follow.
fly
Yeah,
up to where the castle is
yeah,
and
yeah.
try to
And then try to break in
make a
closer
hole
to
there.
the castle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Right.
I follow. I was making a map in my head because I didn't know how it.
because
know
I can
how it
only
looks.
cast fly on
3 of us.
3 people. 3 people. So who?
One of us can't have it. I don't need it. Lupa can climb. We'll just climb the dome.
Sure.
Just got
We
that
climb
one
at 40
big-
feet. I think fly is 60 question mark.
60.
So
Yeah.
we won't be far behind.
Just got that one picture in my head from the Simpsons movie with the glue just like climbing up the side of the dome.
I guess, does the dome crack at all or anything when Lupa like wolf like sinks her and starts? Okay.
No, the ice is pretty thick.
Okay.
So
And
we-
yeah,
So hopefully
Lupa
we can
being
get
Lupa
there
got
within
it.
10 minutes because that's how long fly lasts.
We'll just. I mean, we're moving double time.
Heading up and across and trying to get over this mount, you would get quite the view of the city itself below. The city itself is very much in various different states of cold and freezing. There's sections of snow that cover some areas. There's sections of just full ice that seem to cover other parts. There is a mixture of snow and water and ice and blood and ash that seems to mix across sections of the earth below.
But
You see some shining silhouettes underneath, splayed against sections of the walls, sections of the pathway leading up to the castle, as some of the city's defenders have already fallen to whatever forces are currently inside of this capsule. There are a few more silhouettes moving around. You see, for a few of you, familiar from quite a while ago, small residual collections of a black ash that seem to litter across sections of the pathway. There is most certainly some kind of gathering in the castle itself, as you can see a mixture of lights firing from what few windows you're able to make out across your pathway. Mixtures of white and blue, and mixtures of orange and bright red, and kind of a small disco of colors inside. You do indeed make your way up and across, and as I said, once you kind of get a view of the back of the castle, where the perimeter wall meets the back of the castle is where the encasing ice ends.
Oh, I see.
Whoa.
So we are trying to. I like shout up to the people flying. So we're trying to go like right here on the top, or are we going over there? And I point to where it ends.
Well, where's the fight happening? Or where are we seeing the flashing?
Across sections of the entire castle, whichever windows you can see during your there's very clearly a combat inside from various amounts.
I can cast Dimension Door 3 times.
Oh, I can Misty Step myself.
So I could get. Okay. And you can call Lupa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else have any type of?
Because you could take 2 people, because you go in and then to come out and then to go. So you could
Right.
take 2 people. One person has to figure themselves out. I can still just try to make a hole.
Okay. Well, hurry.
Do you want the hole here or over there?
Whichever is going to be fastest. So
Okay.
whichever's thinnest.
I would like to take out my lance. I would like to try to drive it as deep as I can into this ice, with my incredible muscles.
Roll me a strength check.
Just flat strength.
Athletics.
Athletics. Oh, hachi machi then.
Sounds like
25.
they're really good or really bad.
No, 29 plus 8 is 27. 19
Nice.
plus 8.
Yeah, love that.
Oh, like 9 plus 8 is not 27.
9 plus 8 is
I
27.
was like, that's that new math.
After I get it in as deep as I can on the top, I want to use its lightning ability to just try and like
we're flying. Okay, that's
Godzilla
good.
charge a hole, like blast.
I assume we're still flying. Okay. I don't want to be standing on the ice when you shock it.
Because it comes out like a beam, so I'm trying to
Yes. Indeed. You jam your 11 lance into the section here, and there is that familiar build-up as a crackle of electrical energy digs deep into this ice, and sections of the outside begin to kind of like crack around it. Not as much as you hoped, though. You don't seem to come through the other side, but you've done a significant amount of damage to the enclosure here.
That's cool. There's cracks and stuff now.
Yes.
Okay. Mara hops down and she's gonna thunder wave.
I was gonna shoot it with my thunder bow, so we have the same idea.
Gonna Eldritch Blast.
I think it all happens at the same time.
Heck yeah.
So what I'm hearing is team attack.
Yes.
That's what I'm
we
hearing.
Guardians of the Galaxy want to fall through the ceiling. We're like the real Guardians of the Galaxy. We have a tree person and everything.
We do.
With a tandem team attack, the bubble does indeed take more than enough damage to shatter a conveniently sized hole into this enclosure, and you can indeed slip inside if you do so wish.
Mhm.
We don't fall.
Cracking
Now he
breaking through,
jumps.
there is an immediate blast of freezing cold air that is released from here as a little bit of ice that kind of builds up around the outside of this enclosure and kind of spreads a little. But the gap is still there. As you go ahead and carefully make your descent with the very last of your fly,
Just enough. I jump. I can't fly. I jumped. I'm not worried about it, but I am free falling.
Okay. Where are you looking to land? It's a like the castle itself does have a tower, so to speak,
Mhm.
that you could land onto, or you could land onto the lower tier.
I would
This
ask
is
the group
still
chat where we're going. 'Cause my plan is to get close. Is like to get close enough and then Misty step. It's like I could meet you inside because I can Misty step through a window.
Dallin just sends
So-
head to the front. Head to the throne room.
Yeah, like wherever Lupa saw stuff
Yeah.
happening, I guess
Oh,
would be.
Okay, I will see you
Trust
inside.
Lupa.
I'll leave Lupa on the top because I'll just call her when I get to where I'm going. But my plan is to, and when I get close to a window, just like Misty step into the window.
blink through. Cool. The rest of you, I assume you are also heading to the throne room, unless you tell me differently. Wonderful.
Yes, but Mara's gonna dimension door there.
Okay.
Or
Dallin's
Shikari.
gonna be not as gentle to the window and just find a balcony to land on and smash through it.
All right.
Now is not the time for preserving windows. She can add it to our bill. We already owe her a window.
Very fair. As you pass through the threshold in making your landing, Jacaranda, that familiar, vivid, cold sensation begins to ripple across you once more. Familiar and uncomfortable. I'd like you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
What kind of effect is this?
It is magical.
Okay. 19 on the dice. So, and it's wisdom, you said? Saving throw?
Yes, please.
29.
I have a question. This is the same day we had our we got our hit
Heroes
points and
Feast.
stuff. Like it's not the next day, right?
It's the same day.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yep, you still got all your buffs.
And
From
death
Heroes.
wards.
Oh, good.
Yep, all of your setup that you had for Ecolta / Aravathoon, it is still the same day.
I need post-it notes. I need post-it notes for Mind in the Martyr post-it notes.
Jack, you feel that same sensation, that same unpleasant intrusion try to worm its way back into your consciousness. That familiar cold, almost like a single drop of ice cold water running down the back of your neck. But with everything that's happened today, all of the experiences, all of the partially the magical effects, but also the new confidence that you found in yourself, I guess. You not only resist that influence, but you can firmly push it out and away if you do so wish.
Yeah, and I think like Jack will at the same time, partially out loud, partially more just like in her mind, say like, I'm not yours.
That thought reverberates not only through your mind, but seemingly through your being, as this force is violently expunged from your mind. You feel not only its influence removed from you, but you feel the slightest tinge of aggravation and pain, but it's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Before the link severs entirely. Pinging back to the group here. Mara, as the one dimension dooring, you are the one who would be able to get there first, as you don't have to worry about doors and things like that. Nawi would probably be the next following suit. But you blink your way straight into the throne room. You see, first of all, huge clusters of ice that have built up across the throne room itself. Sections crawling across the walls, various different states of construction and shattering. You see multiple cadavers across the ground. Blood and ice scattered everywhere, both from defenders of the castle and from stranger creatures. Some of them, again, perhaps you recognize from, general studies. Things like elementals are not particularly rare in Vega. They're relatively common knowledge. Some of these creatures seem, now that you see them up close, oddly familiar. You're beginning to get recollections of the same kind of creature that you had once battled in order to save one of the guardians of the forest. Not quite exactly the same, but very much of that same vein. The same kind of magic twisting these these fey entities. A strange amalgamation of fey magic and the signature of a Ravathun mixed into some twisted concoction. But these are indeed cadavers. The ones on the ground are very much slain. You see in the throne room itself 4 figures standing there. 3 seem to be dressed in the same standard regalia that you're used to seeing Scythian guards in. The 4th, however, you recognize as an older figure, standing in more of their basic kind of leather armor that they tend to have while directing and training and generally leading the guards and the troops of this area. standing with both hook blades in hand, finishing or just having finished off an enemy, throwing their cadaver to the ground. You see the obviously exhausted Sinclair rubbing a section of his face, kind of getting trying to kind of like tend to a bruise simply by his hand, sees the magic appear, pulls one of the hook blades forward, and seeing that it's you, there's a sigh of relief. And a hand quickly runs through the hair, looks past you.
They're coming. Is she safe?
Yes, she is fine. She is safe. We are we have our best looking after her as we can. We are attempting to get her out of the city as best we can, but things are difficult.
Oh, well, there's a hole now.
That's good. That is something. I don't suppose you have any information about what's happening here.
It's the Monarch,
Good.
who's working with Ravathoon. Ravathoon is on this plane. That's about all we know. I don't know where the Monarch is yet.
Best to keep on our guard then.
And Mara's going to send to the group chat. The queen is being protected not here in the throne room. Sinclair and 3 other guards are here with a lot of twisted corpses. Twisted as in like the guy with the crown that we met, or well, didn't meet, almost was killed by, but yeah.
Okay. I heard you. I like as now he enters the room. I heard you talking with your mouth about. We didn't know where the monarch was yet. I can try and find them.
Like
Uh,
track through ice, or how are you going to find them?
oh no! And she takes some of Lupa's hair out of like her bag, like with magic.
Oh, okay.
And then she takes this fur and just like stuffs it up her nose. And I will cast locate creature. Describing everything I know about the monarch from what the group has told me. Slash, I guess now he was there for the boat thing. Just me, Austin wasn't.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
So
And
I
you
just-
know what Faye feels like
yeah,
more
so
than
I
the rest of
describe
us.
everything of the monarch I can. And if they're within 1,000 feet, I know where they are exactly.
Okay.
Including if they're moving, I know what direction.
Wonderful. The magic holds. And you feel a direct and immediate pull down. And seem to be down maybe 3, 4 stories from where you are right now. So past the ground floor into the basement of the castle, so to speak.
Into the jail cells?
The cells themselves were still on a floor of the castle itself, so to speak. This is below that.
So it lasts an hour if I concentrate, which I will in case they move. I don't say anything out loud. I don't even think anything. I write on a piece of paper what I found out and show it to Mara, and I don't know if they can hear me, but they are.
She turns to Sinclair.
I will use another spell slot to call Lupa, and now he starts heading that way and does like a follow. I think the only thing she says in the group chat is follow us when you see us, and she starts moving.
And the rest of the party at this point would all be at various different states of like touching down through sections of the castle. And as you work your way through what few corridors you would need to from this angle to get to the throne room itself, there's that same kind of frosty aspect across sections. A few of you run into some of the guards that didn't survive the initial attack, but they very much seem to have taken creatures with them, as various Fey and Fey-like creatures are also with them as you step through. The areas themselves, though, other than that, are clear, are relatively untouched. And soon enough, you can go ahead and reconvene, make your way to the throne room, and see the same thing that Mara and Nawi had seen. This 4 squad just kind of holding their ground as best they can.
Because I'm assuming we arrive at the throne room after Mara and Nawi have left.
More than likely, yes.
Because they wouldn't have stuck around. And all you said was follow me, but like, did you perchance leave the slip of paper on the ground?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the guards are. Did the guards follow us?
The guards aren't in the group chat, so no. They could also.
Well,
be-
he turned to Sinclair and asked, "How do we get there?"
Oh, okay.
That
In
was
case
catch
there's
that
a he goes behind the throne and he twists a knob and look, there's a staircase that's going down. I mean,
this is a dragon castle. There's gotta be secret passages.
well, he's the head of security, so.
And he would know it.
How do you get to the panic room?
Takes a moment to pause. Rolls his eyes for a moment. And reaches into a pouch and throws you a small, plain silver key. And just says, her father will show you. And kind of tilts his head and points towards the right, down one of the corridors.
Yeah. And then Mara says in the group chat, Sinclair will show you the way. And we head towards there, where he pointed us.
So I guess cut to all of us reaching the throne room at different times, and Sinclair just like
That way.
that.
Although I feel like I definitely feel like Hiroki, one, when he landed, totally did like the Akira style
Screech.
motorbike slide, stop, and then at any point he can, he's just throwing off waves of glittery shininess at things while he's like running in and like, oh hey, people need help, okay, let's throw 3 Eldritch Blasts over that way. Next thing, just keep going. And he's doing that, just pew pew pew. And of course they are rainbow and pastel and glittery.
All right, I don't know. This is really dark, but when you said you were just throwing like glitteriness, I was just picturing Hiroki like throwing glitter on some dead bodies, like positivity.
No. He's shooting at things that are still
Yeah,
like.
he's
It's
helping.
like, oh, hey, there's guards there. They need help. Let me throw.
Let me give you a hand with my cantrips. Dawn would absolutely love to spare some healing, but at the same time, she's like, no.
Well, so far, strangely enough, you haven't stepped into an active combat scene yet.
Mm.
Everything has either been a few defenders and a few creatures scattered across either sections of the city or, in this case, the corridors of the castle. But so far, you have not stepped into an active combat scene. Everything seems to have already happened. But you are ready. You are like pistols loaded, ready to go with those Eldritch Blasts if you see anyone who needs help. But right now, it is eerily quiet.
Smash cut Sinclair sending people the right way.
Yes,
Yeah.
smash cut to everyone arriving.
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 Arriving at the throne room.
Arriving, waiting for each other to group up, and indeed, Sinclair kind of gesturing. Let me know if anyone has anything specific that they would like to do. Just kind of interject.
I just have a question. How
Mars-
long does it take us to get to the castle from where we were? Like, it takes us a bit, right?
The
Like from
so is it
Stonehaven.
so from Stonehaven it would be about an hour. at,
Okay.
like, a full gallop.
So during that hour, I changed my little buddy into a foxglove, also known as Dead Man's Bells version.
Wonderful.
Pardon?
Just equipping equipping another flower.
Yeah, just changed into a different flower, different spells. So
God, yeah, good stuff.
Kind of as we set out, I believe Hiroki put mage armor on.
Did Hiroki transform as he moved through the castle?
like
Like put a mask on and
Magical girl
transform.
No, I was
transformation
thinking
sequence.
magical girl
Yeah,
transformation
the magical
sequence. Thank you.
transformation sequence, but it's as he's running.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's like the
exactly.
ribbons are going around, but they're still like running.
Yeah.
There's like huge open windows where everything happens, and then the camera like pans to like not like just the wall for a bit, and then when the next window comes up, it's a new part of the costume that's appeared.
Yes, yes. Everyone on the street, like outside, are just seeing like fucking rainbow lights coming from the hallway.
I adore it.
But yeah, as he's running, the ribbon starts wrapping around the arm, and
That one's not gonna do anything special, but as she passes Sinclair, gesturing her to go down the hallway where she needs to go, she's just gonna like give him a slap on the back and also heal him a little bit.
Doing great, buddy.
just a real basic like, hey, this is gonna do absolutely nothing to you because you are a fucking dragon and I know this, but have a cure wounds and good job.
I like it.
A little flavor cure wounds.
How hurt are you? I'm missing like 400. Here's 2 D4.
Thanks. Sinclair will acknowledge the healing, and
I just heal the bruise on his face. That's really ultimately what I do.
I mean, he'll still give you a sincere nod of approval before focusing back towards the front gates or front doors here of the throne room.
And I will start. I feel like I've been speed walking, maybe like a good 45 feet. now I'm sprinting. It's 80 feet.
Good stuff. Thankfully, it doesn't take you long to all reconvene together, as the pathway that you're sent down is not particularly long. um, Heading through the door that Sinclair kind of gestured towards, there's a very similar looking corridor to many that you've already traveled, but you can see huge sections of wood that have been very swiftly kind of thrown as a barricade. Chests of drawers and bookcases and things like that that have just been very quickly grabbed out of rooms and thrown across. You see sections of them already splintered and broken, and a trail of ice leading down the corridor and into a small room on the left, which is full of stone bust statues. It seems to be quite a large, partly art, partly tribute room. Each bust has some kind of crest on a flag behind it. There are very warm colorations in here that have been very much polluted by the frost crawling across sections of the stonework. And there are a few creatures in here as well. The one that pulls obvious attention from those stepping inside first would be the large stone dragon bust that is mounted to the back of the wall.
Her dad?
I assume it's her dad.
But the
You-
thing in the, you think?
Look for the keyhole.
This large bust behind the flag of Scythia kind of rests on the back, sections of ice kind of crawling across the flag itself. The stone bust itself is just the head of this dragon, but it's been very much mounted to the wall rather than just sitting on a podium. It is not entirely tricky for you to notice that a section of the nose can be pulled up. And as you do so, there is a small slot for a keyhole. You do notice, however, as you've lifted it up, that the keyhole itself seems to be covered in a thin layer of frost.
I start blowing on the keyhole.
Astral dragon breath? I don't know what weird things now he has.
A lot of weird things.
Right?
Dewan, having caught up with your 80 foot of movement speed, you step into the room just to see Nawi.
At the base of a dragon statue.
Mara's like, can you move? And she whips out her flame blade and puts it on the keyhole.
Are there like even unlit torches like on the walls or candles or anything in the area?
I get it, everyone. Now he's a bimbo. There's a better way to solve this puzzle.
Jack,
I
there
don't
are
want to burn
indeed-
you.
So I will use Druidcraft to light one of the torches and then just grab the torch and put it. I mean, after Nawi's not like on it.
You and Mara with flaming objects, please.
That's my first thought though too. It's just that I don't know if I breathe though.
And I was thinking, okay, is fire gonna come out? That's why she didn't immediately, take her blades out, because Nawi's like, and I know that Nevin has done some things to Nawi, so maybe
What a
Dragon.
wild way to reveal
What
I
a-
have dragon breath, right? Could you
Yeah.
imagine? It's like,
All of a sudden.
oh, I got it.
it's like Well, we haven't been in a situation that it necessarily would have been useful, so
Yeah, you haven't needed to breathe fire until this exact moment, so
right.
I wish I could just for that. Anyway, I move out of the way. The two people with flaming objects.
I'm gonna
We
come
want
up
the ice.
next to you and just like throw my arm around your waist. You tried? We'll say that was a strange sight to walk in on when I'm running into a room.
That was stranger than when I was like dying or disappeared.
At that point, that's expected. I wasn't expecting to see you because it's low on the ground, right? Were you on your hands and knees?
It's
Erase-
mounted to the
It's
wall.
on the
Oh,
wall.
not just the wall. She's like,
Sorry, Dewan. No, I was not on my hands and knees blowing me.
oh yeah.
Still bent over.
I mean, it did look weird because
It
you're
did
blowing
look-
into a nose.
yeah, you were
but...
like- I'm sorry. In no world am I gonna like stand straight up breathing into a keyhole. There's gonna be some bending action. Anyways.
Please use the fire to solve this keyhole puzzle.
As the entire group has now convened into this room, everyone can go ahead and have caught up. We shall stop splitting the party. The layer of frost on this wasn't particularly thick. Definitely wasn't massively obstructive. More of an indication that a section of ice had been inside the keyhole before you had made it there. The small key does indeed fit into place after a bit of clearance, twists, and the wall holding the Scythian flag behind slowly rumbles and pulls backwards to reveal a passageway. And that thin, small trail of ice continues through this gap and down the steps.
At least there's an easy to follow trail.
I still feel the monarch this way, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I will let you know if anything changes on that front, but you very much are honed in to exactly where they are. The steps continue down, and the first thing you notice, whoever's taking point here, the first thing you notice is a shimmering at the bottom of the stairs, seemingly coming from the room itself. A much warmer shimmering than perhaps you might have expected. More hues of red and gold. As you step down to the bottom of the stairs, the wall ends right in front of you, and there's just one immediate turning to the right, which opens up into this very, very large room.
We're walking down the stairs. Mara is actually going to turn to Dewan. Do you have the cheap booze?
Someone's going to reach into a bag of holding. You hear bottles clinking, and she pulls out, like, she does the thing where she pulls out, like, 2 bottles with one hand.
And Mara takes them.
Take your
And
pick.
she starts stuffing rags in the top. Yes, she's making Molotov cocktails.
Oh! In that case.
Dewan's like, oh,
Oh yeah, no. here.
yes.
Yes! And then she reaches her arm, like, deeper into the bag of holding, and will come out with, I don't know, how many bottles of booze did we have in there? We had a few.
What about the black, like,
How many
liquid?
bottles of booze in the bag? How many bottles of booze?
Yeah. So there's that one that Oren drank that, like, a tiny bit was, like, ridiculous.
Oh, yes, Siren's Tear. You still have a bottle of Siren's Tear
How? And
in there
it's
somewhere.
it's
like, strong.
extremely flammable,
It is
right?
extremely flammable.
Then
Yes.
as we're walking, Dawn's going to unfold her medicine kit, because this is the reason why I chose this medicine kit, so she can work on it while walking. And there's going to be a bunch of little glass vials. And she's going to fill those glass vials with the rest of what's in the Siren's Tear bottle. And just make teeny tiny explosive vials. I'm sure also that there's something. I have an alchemist kit. Like, I don't think I can figure out some kind of chemical reaction to make it actually explode upon.
Honey
Like,
lemon
Mara's thought
vibes.
is Ice Princess doesn't like fire. I'm just thinking.
You have essentially created alchemist's fire at this point with how alcoholic the Siren's Tear is. You've like jury rigged alchemist's fire.
That one's never
I
going
like
to
it.
drink it. And
Yeah,
no
I
one
think we
else is
saw
going to
what
touch
happened.
it. Yeah.
Everybody's like, no, thank you. We do not need to ingest that. Oh, Nolly, maybe.
I'll make sure there's a little left over for emergency cases where we need to warm someone up real quick, just like when people are stuck in avalanches and the avalanche dog comes and they take a swig from the whatever. that whole cartoon trope that is actually a thing.
Dawn's like a beautiful mind over here, like as we're walking down the hallway.
With some Molotov cocktails and some improvised alchemist's fire. Stepping into the large cavern here, you have finally seen something more glittery than Hiroki. As
Impossible.
this room opens up. At first, it starts as a room, but it very much opens up into a cavern of jewels and gems and gold all across the walls, across the floor, as you realize you have very much stepped into Scythia's treasury.
You mean Elwyn's hoard? Yes. We are aware.
Potato, potato. There are many, many, many collections of what seem to be like old armor pieces, old weapons, old relics from a bygone age, very neatly packaged and displayed, and then just kind of like spatterings of gold and platinum and gems and jewels all kind of mixed in. The icy trail continues, and you see the frozen remains, the very, very back of the room, of two large metallic automatons, one on either side of a thin, dark doorway.
Frozen
The ice
remains as
trail.
if they had fought and
They look like they didn't even have the chance to activate.
Okay.
They are completely encased in ice.
Okay.
And they are true automatons, as in like machines, robots, not like forged.
Is the monarch behind that door?
You very, very much are getting the sense that they are now in front of you.
I just do the like this thing to everyone, and one of the
Just get a thumbs up.
she does the same thing. She starts moving as quietly as she can through a room full of treasure.
I cast Pass Without a Trace on us.
Okay. Good stuff.
We need some stealth rolls.
If you would like to keep quiet, then yes, absolutely. Go ahead and roll me stealth.
I don't even need it. I got a natural 20
The
Ow.
blessing.
for a
Let's
for a
go.
total. Would pass on a trace of 33.
Okay.
I'll roll for Lupa. She is here.
27 for
12.
Mara. That includes the pass without a trace.
Oh, right.
And Shikari is 29.
22.
32. Sorry.
for
Also
Dawn.
22.
15.
Mara can't
the
be
plus
as
10?
stealthy.
With the plus 10?
I rolled a 4.
And you don't have
Hey,
any stealth
listen.
to add?
+1.
Plus 1?
Plus 1.
Sorry,
Listen,
these kinds.
we all have different
We all have
Strengths.
strengths and
Strengths.
weaknesses.
Yes. Because I rolled a 3, but I had a 27.
Here you go. I just roll high. I only have a
Yeah.
+3 to stealth. I just roll really high.
Hiroki's not good at, stealthily existing
No.
in subtlety.
I
No.
was going to say,
No,
Hiroki
no.
glitters from within.
Yeah. There's no stealth.
Is
there.
a literal shining beacon of positivity.
Yeah.
But I think with like 330s, we're okay.
Hiroki gets the occasional like hand on their shoulder. Someone stops them from like stepping on a coin that's about to roll or something. You have people like patting down your clothes every now and then to make sure you don't rattle too much. But other than that,
When the three of us stand in front of you, it's like there's an illusionary mirage effect and no one can actually see you.
Glitter camouflage. Wait. I'll just hide in this giant pile of shiny things.
That's true. Just pretend
Now
you're some
he's-
treasure.
Now he's like jumping over piles, like jumping to the ceiling and then like springing off. I'm being the most extra I can to get through this room.
It's the Scrooge McDuck diving through coins.
But quietly.
Yeah, but quiet.
I would love it if Naui did all that and Dawan has just already made it to the door with her walking speed and ability to be mobile.
as you approach the doorway with the golems, there's this dark corridor that continues just about 10 foot before ending at this dark mahogany door that's been painted across with kind of like just regular black paint. What is blaint? Black paint. There we go. As you begin to approach, you hear a conversation developing on the other side. It's a very loud, echoey conversation. And you probably tune in, so to speak, just as you hear. And frankly, after, well, all of this time, looking around, trying to find answers, I will be damned if I'm going down to you, of all things. There's a moment of silence before a cold, echoey, kind of nonchalant voice responds. It's nothing about being damned. It's nothing about anything. This was always going to come. One way or another. Despite how much you may struggle, the seasons don't change. winter always comes in the end. There's nothing you or anyone else can do to stop it. There's a moment of silence before the familiar voice of Elowen pops up once again. Perhaps, but by that foolish logic, all of the other seasons come around too. By your own metaphor, you're also going to fall at some point. Maybe that'll be me. Maybe that'll be someone else. This whole situation is just you clawing for a power, an inevitability that doesn't even exist for you. You're brash, power hungry, foolish. And at some point, that's going to come back to bite you. Whether that be right here, right now, whether that be in the future. My allies, or Ravathun himself. You're in a losing battle. This is the last chance I'll try to convince you. Turn back. Go back to your plane. Get yourself out of this before you regret it. It's a few moments of silence. That's about when you can get through the majority of this room and up to the door. And you can tackle the next part however you wish. How would you like to handle this?
I say in the group chat, do we go in?
Yes, open the door.
Do we go in and shoot? Do we go
Full
in and talk?
attack.
Oh, okay. Now he's gonna
Kick down the door.
I'm gonna kick the door in, and as soon as I see the monarch, I'm gonna need a dexterity saving throw.
It'll be immediate. Their back is to you, but
Oh,
you can't see
incredible.
them.
They need to make a dexterity saving throw. I'll let you decide if they are surprised or not.
I would also need a Constitution saving throw as well, unless the monarch is immune to poison.
So I just get this ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Jack goes into seasonal wild shape for autumn.
Oh.
I also
No,
need
summer,
an
summer.
intelligence saving throw.
I would also like a charisma saving throw.
Hey, Elowen's the last shot, bro. She told you to. She apparently has been telling you to leave for however long you've been down here.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
'Cause
Dexterity.
You really should go. The people that work for me are crazy.
Dexterity. 16.
Oh. What if it was 14?
It unfortunately was not.
Mine would have been first because I was casting it before we went into the room. So it would have been Constitution first because it might cause a disadvantage.
A knock-on effect. That is fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Order of operations. In that case, mental maths. 15.
What is my thing? Nope, fails.
Hey.
All right.
So that means that she's poisoned for one round. Unless she's immune to poison, then something else happens.
She is not immune to poison.
It's
Okay.
crazy that you get something else if she's immune. That's great.
What does the poison affect you? I don't remember.
It's
Disadvantage.
on
Which means I
ability
need to
checks.
reroll this one again for Nawi's save. It's in fact not a 14, Nawi. It is a natural 1 on the die.
Oh,
Incredible. I don't know if that makes it special, but it's 27 lightning damage.
27 points of lightning. They are under the effect of your autumn?
Yeah. Oh no, summer.
summer.
Summer. Summer.
The
summer, autumn.
pollen.
Yes. The monarch has
Yeah.
hay fever.
So all of the pollen is
I
like
feel this pain.
Right. And an intelligence save, I think, was the other one. Also a disadvantage.
Also
was from
charisma.
Farah. Also charisma.
Hiroki, you
Y'all
want to attack?
really just...
You want to attack?
You had those Eldritch Blasts ready.
true.
Might as well. Although I'm sad I don't have anything that also has a
Like a strength saving.
strength saving throw or something.
We cover all the bases.
Charisma?
Charisma.
Intelligence?
And intelligence.
Yeah, intelligence first. Intelligence was 11.
Okay. So she's gonna take 76 psychic damage. So.
Oh, 70. I thought you said 76, and I was like, 76 psychic?
So 25 points of psychic damage. And is incapacitated in the start of my next turn.
Let's go.
Jesus.
Can they even make a charisma save? I don't remember the rules for incapacitated.
It failed regardless.
Then they're
So it
banned.
has
So
failed
Oh, nice.
every single save so far.
just
Well,
make a
if
little
they
make a
hadn't
little
failed,
sticky
I
note.
was Silvery barbed them and made them fail.
So I was just reading the rules lawyer note, but also just remember to roll a d4 and subtract the number from attack or saving throws. Just an FYI. They're banned.
So they are banned.
They are banned.
They are poisoned. And they are immediately harmed. Which is certainly a chain of events as you
And they're incapacitated, don't
burst
forget.
through the
Ellen was like, you got one last chance before you fall.
my-
and we
if
go,
my math is-
summer!
If my math is right, they're gonna be here in 3, 2.
Yeah.
Yep, I told you.
Yeah, she's like, oh, winter always comes. Like, just kidding, summer.
An incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions.
Yes, if they were not immune to incapacitated.
They're a big bad.
Kind of bull.
She's
What kind of a
monarch.
rabbit loving? Oh.
Also, while that's happening, Viridian is
Oh, God.
casting which one?
Which one? There's so many choices.
Chromatic. Oh, no. Let's see. Shatter. So another con save.
Would you like to get your Eldritch Blasts in as well, Hiroki? Why
Yeah.
not?
Well,
Absolutely.
why not?
Just front loading damage.
Could you please roll?
No, no.
What was
Imagine
it?
like making a big bad and just sucking. Was it a natural one?
I have not rolled above a 10 so far on any
Let's
of these saves.
go.
And Shikari's gonna run in and pounce on her.
We're all doing that once.
Does now-
Everyone's just bundling it.
I was gonna say, does
So-
Lupa want to do a thing? Does Lupa and Shikari want to tag team?
I will. I want to let Hiroki shoot.
What what Viridian like does is when it comes in, it looks like the foxglove, which is also known as dead man spells, and like shakes, so it causes like a sound, and then that's what the ringing noise like causes, like the shadow. But yeah, we'll let Hiroki do.
All right, on the Eldritch Blast, I have a 17 plus 9, a 12 plus 9. Oh, that one's 19. I can do the math easy. And a 2 plus 9.
2 plus 9 fails.
Yeah, not surprised.
That one obviously does. They are technically surprised. So yeah, the other two definitely hit.
Get
Go ahead and
it,
roll the
get it.
damage.
All right.
Happy episode 100 to us.
I think Shikari missed. He slid on the ice. He only rolled a 12, so.
Okay.
Let's see. For first one,
Y'all really
11
did
for the
just roll
second.
up. Yeah. We got
and
this.
Oh wait, it was only 2 hit. So
And just think, we're not even using our new toys yet.
Okie dokie.
Eldritch Blast was it? I missed it.
Hmm?
How much damage was Eldritch Blast?
The first one was roll. 4 damage. The second one was 11. So total
Sick.
of, I can do this, 15.
Sick.
As the door is kicked open, a barrage of attacks fly through the doorway and directly towards the monarch, who is barraged with with just all this damage and effects that is coming through. You see for a moment, stunned Elowen standing at the very back of the room, blade out, just looking at you, like tilted. It's like,
Sorry, we're late.
Hello, Your Highness. Are you okay?
We were expecting her, but then Aravathun showed up instead. So we had a lot of pent up monarch hating going on.
questions for later, problem solving first.
You should get somewhere safe. You are like a queen.
You should leave. We have this.
Clearly. There are people upstairs you could be helping. Also, there's a hole in the ceiling now. You could get people out.
The
Not
ice
in the
ceiling.
X ceiling.
Not in the
but
castle.
In the ice dome. In the ice dome. We didn't destroy the castle. Yeah.
Well, we might have destroyed the castle a little bit.
You should go.
She nods towards you, looks towards the monarch, who at this point you see the full form of this creature now. This large, spindly, almost a walking evergreen that seems to chill the very air that they are around. They have this, as I say, very, very thin, very spindly frame. They have this cloak that seems to travel down from their hair that seems to be made entirely of evergreen pines that seem to drop and spread on the ground around them. And as it touches the ground itself seems to frost over and cool. The actual creature looks around, shaking off this damage that they've just hit. They're not quite a typical fae. They're not quite in Kaima either. This kind of lean, almost emaciated dryad of sorts. It's a very unusual appearance as they look across all of you and catching Jacaranda's eye, they realize, they recognize, and a twisted smile comes across their thin face. Oh, it's one of you. Good to know. Very well then. They roll their shoulders. You hear the sound of 100 trees breaking as sections of their cloak begin to give way, sections of its back suddenly contort, and this huge mass of brambles and vines and tendrils seem to erupt from its back, creating this huge, almost butterfly-esque set of wings across the back. They're not quite that neat, though. They kind of still have that tangled vine and wood kind of sticking out and jutting out in directions. And as they look across you all, they almost animalistically drop to all fours and begin to move their way forwards. And that is where we'll end the session tonight. As we have you all staring down the monarch for the confrontation.
Getting got. No staring down.
Fucking them up instantly.
Listen, we had pent up aggression. We expected to fight them on the island. Now they're at our house? No.
Attacking our friend? Absolutely not.
And she said you should go. She was clearly like, listen, I can't stress enough. There's a group that is completely unhinged. They're probably on their way, and you really should leave. They are not gonna want to. They have two modes, and it's talk and
Smash.
incredible violence.
Yeah.
If they show up and it's like this, they're not gonna start talking. They will go right to incredible violence. This is your last. Hey, this is probably your last shot. There's no way they aren't here by now in the building. You should really leave. Oh, well, you see the storm. Okay, you keep on.
You
writing
keep
poems over there.
monologuing over there.
Yeah.
You talk too much.
You sly dog, you got me monologuing.
Literally.
Yeah.
Winter always comes. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Nature has
You know what comes after
seasons.
winter?
Elowen is too polite to say shut the fuck up, but that is exactly what was going if
Yeah.
she was connected to the group chat. That's what it would be.
No, Elowen was saying, this pretentious fuck.
Really thinks they aren't gonna drop in here. Incredible violence. It's just unimaginable.
They have two modes: annoy the shit out of you or become best friends, or the same thing, talk and annoy the shit out of you, which will either annoy the shit out of you or make you friends with them, or annihilate, like erase you from existence.
You will be gone. Now we brought an angel wing back last time. I didn't ask where she got it from. She
Do
carried
you
a
know
dragon
how many
body.
monster parts they have?
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful stuff. Okay, y'all. Very quick plug for y'all to share who you are and all the good stuff that you're working on. Gonna go ahead and throw over to Akemi. It's been a while since we've had you first.
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm Akemi. I played Hiroki, your magical girl hot boy warlock, who he likes to sparkle. You can find me anywhere I exist on the internet at Ninja Penguin AM. You can find me every other Wednesday on Neon Lights Roleplay at I think it's 5 p.m. Pacific for a mech pilot game where I play a character who likes to blow shit up. Not too different from Hiroki, except very different from Hiroki. I make games, I play games, I do stuff. Off to whoever's next.
I'm just going to go in order on the screen, and that's going to be Ellis.
Hi, I am Ellis, also known as So Much Geek, SEW Much Geek. I was playing Jacaranda, which is a tree person and has like very strong ties to the monarch. So that's going to be interesting. And I have started streaming again on my own channel on Twitch. So if you want to check that out, I've been playing Spiritfarer and House Flipper. So relaxing, sometimes sad. I mean, you can get sad in House Flipper too, so I'll just say for both of them, it's fine. Yeah, hang out sometimes. Check me out on Twitter and other places. It's all the same name.
Jesse.
Hello, I'm Jessie. This is Gnocchi. I do art stuff. You can find me at Jahoos the Moose on the interwebs. I do art things. Sometimes I post about art things. Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Rochelle.
I am Rochelle. Dragon Gem here on Twitter, the Dragon Gem on Dragon Gem here on Twitch, the Dragon Gem on Twitter. I was gonna get that backwards. I stream on my own channel. Sometimes it's been a little bit intermittent, going through some health things, but hopefully those get fixed shortly. All proceeds on my channel are donated to local animal shelters in my area, and there's a nice fat donate button so you can donate directly to the animal shelters. So you should come by and hang out. But I want to get back to this Jacaranda being tied to the monarch. So is this going to be like a Highlander situation? So you kill her and take her powers, because that would be awesome. Okay.
And last but not least, Austin.
Hey, what's up? My name's Austin. You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and Hive at Sales Convulsants, at Sailor SCT Austin. Pronouns are he, they, she. I just got done playing Maui. She does her best. I'm an award-winning game writer, designer, performer, and friend. Other than here, on Fridays, starting this week, you can find me over on TTRPG. That's TEAT RPG at I think it's 8 Eastern. I don't remember. I'll tweet about it. So if you find me on Twitter, I'll tweet about it, and then you'll know when to be there when I'm there. I go where my phone tells me. if it's not a this is the only thing that isn't in a Google Calendar format, and I only remember to be here because I've been doing it so long. But anything else, if it doesn't show up on my phone, it's not real. Other than that, I don't remember other places you can find me. So, see you on the internet.
As always, support all these wonderful people in all that they do. I'm Ray. I'm the GM for the Mind of the Martyr. You can find me at Red Mage Ray on Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to plug at the moment. My throat hurts. So we're gonna go ahead and end the session there because I need to hydrate. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching for however long you've been watching, whether this is your first session with us or whether you've been around for the whole 100 episodes. I am so very thankful to be able to say that, and I don't have coherent thoughts right now, so I'm just gonna say, hey, let's go raid before I cry. Thank you so much. Hydrate, medicate, all of that good stuff. Look after yourselves and keep moving forward. We'll see you next week for hopefully an interesting fight. See you then. Bye.